Why are companies that have historically either catered to conservative customers or marketed products or services with the America First ideology switching gears and adopting woke liberal positions? Are these companies trying to get a new market share, or is it something more sinister? Join me as I uncover the nefarious nature of the Corporate Equality Index and how this rating system is forcing American businesses to forego their customer base in this episode of Office of the Patriot. Hello, and welcome to the Office of the Patriot. In this office, I try to make sense out of the nonsense of the progressive left. If you are a subscriber, thank you for your continued viewership. It is appreciated. If you are a returning viewer, please take a moment to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future presentations. And if you are a first-time visitor to my channel, well, congratulations on finding it. It's usually hidden by the YouTube algorithm. However, I hope you find the content worth coming back for. My name is Myron Ybarra, and I'm your host. A week or so ago, I came across an Under Armour commercial that was promoting Pride Month with a new apparel line. This on the heels of the Bud Light Dylan Mulvaney fiasco and the close runner-up, Miller Lite's woke ad insisting guys suck and girls rule. This got me thinking, why are businesses in America like Anheuser-Busch, Under Armour, Levi, and even the Red, White, and Blue Tractor Supply moving their marketing to satisfy a very small contingent of customers who historically have no interest in the products or services they offer? This appears to be done in spite of the millions of faithful and repeat customers these businesses and many others like them currently enjoy. I can't say I ever recall seeing a trans woman attaching a bucket loader to their tractor to work a field at 3 in the morning. And if you have, please comment below with a link to the evidence. I know market shares of these companies are dropping like a 2-pound lead weight on half-pound test fishing line, so you would think that their lost revenue and customer base would spur them to reverse course ASAP. However, they're not budging. In fact, many of them are digging in their heels and doubling down on their stupidity. It makes absolutely no fiscal sense, and I'm not even talking about the fiduciary duty these companies have to their shareholders. So I started digging, and it didn't take me long to find the reason why. But before I go any further into this presentation, I would like to get your take. If a company that you frequent goes woke, are you going to stick with them because you enjoy the product or service they offer? Or are you going to drop them and either do without or find another provider? Please take a minute to comment below. I have to go into a little bit of history of why I believe many companies are adopting woke ideology in lieu of pleasing their customer base or their shareholders. In 1986, the Human Rights Campaign Foundation was formed as a nonprofit organization promoting LGBTQ rights. There are quite a few nonprofit organizations, also known as non-governmental organizations or NGOs, that have taken up the mantle to promote quite a few social causes. So this is nothing new. However, the Human Rights Campaign Foundation developed a rating system for businesses that uses a point system to grade businesses' LGBTQ policies and hiring practices. This system is called the Corporate Equality Index, or CEI scoring system. The CEI notes a number of pro-LGBTQ policies within the business that's being rated and assigns a score between 0, the lowest, to 100, the highest, for each of the 5 criteria within their rating system. Some of the criteria include workforce protections for LGBTQ people, inclusive benefits for LGBTQ employees and families, supporting an inclusive culture within the company, and corporate social responsibility. In reality, these criteria are just a rebadging of a number of existing laws and protections that are currently in place and enforced by governments such as Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, OSHA Health Act, and current EEOC rules and policies. But this was a prime opportunity for the progressive left to push a new narrative to again divide the American people. The first victims to fall to CEI were financial institutions. Not all of them were victims, however. Companies like BlackRock and JP Morgan Chase happily accepted and promoted leftist agendas like CEI and diversity, inclusion, and equity. Yeah, I know, I flipped the inclusion and equity around to make the acronym more accurate to the idea, which now reads DIE or DIE, which is what I believe businesses do if they adopt this agenda. Right now, there are over 118 banks and lending institutions that not only provide, or rather promote, the CEI, but use it as a condition for granting business loans. These banks put pressure on businesses to promote these leftist agendas. No CEI, no money. Again, this isn't new behavior for banks. There are many documented instances of liberal banks denying loans or closing accounts of energy and firearm production and or distribution businesses to promote their leftist agenda. So where does that leave businesses that adopt CEI and DIE? Well, I guess that depends on where you sit, or where that business sits on the ideological spectrum that currently divides this country. Companies like Target, Starbucks, and CVS openly advocate leftist propaganda such as transgender participation in female sports, Planned Parenthood, and yes, CEI. However, businesses that sell a product or service that is typically used by the blue-collar worker are the ones that fall victim to this crazed ideology under the pressure from the Human Rights Campaign Foundation and the banks. Short of a concerted effort to boycott these businesses by conservative Americans, honestly, there's not much we can do to reverse this trend. Taking your money elsewhere is eventually going to have an effect, but don't expect overnight change to occur, if any, especially if the business has gone public. Going public shelters a business somewhat because the market, and thus their stock, can and often is manipulated to protect liberal businesses. It's the private businesses, especially the ones with traditional American values, that are going to have the hardest time standing against the tide of CEI. Unfortunately, many of them are caving to that pressure. Chick-fil-A, a business with firm foundations in Southern Baptist Christianity, recently promoted one of its senior employees to the position of Vice President of DEI in November 2021. Did Chick-fil-A do this to appease the woke mob? Or is this just an extension of their Christian foundations? I guess only Chick-fil-A and God knows the answer to this question. In truth, their decision to appease the woke mob probably won't stop me from enjoying God's chicken whenever I can. Well, this concludes this episode of Office of the Patriot. If you enjoyed what was presented, please take the time to like, subscribe, and share my channel on your social media. It is appreciated. And as always, have a great day and stay safe out there.